Sphere. I wanted to come and chat with you guys about something that's currently happening right now. But me and Annalicia kind of just like wanted to get like a hold of the conversation and share it with you guys. So Annalicia was invited on a panel and she went up and black men did what they always do. Ashtray rhetoric, not making the direct correlation of why black women really have an issue with them, um, not understanding the concept of competing for women and resources. That was the main thing that stood out to me. But here's the thing about this guy. This guy, he has a channel. It's called Ticket TV, and he also is affiliated with Kwame Brown, and we all know he's like the mega of ashtrays. He's one of the top singing doo-wop boys. We all know about him. So
Good morning.
here's
Good
my
morning.
thing. One of the things that he said on the panel the most that stood out to me was he did not understand the need for him to compete. He said, I compete with no one. And this would be why you don't amount to shit, nigga. This is why you don't amount to anything. The reason, and
Before I play the rest of this, I wanted to say this real quick. This is the Black Woman Sphere commentary. Salute to her. Fair use. Um, I was sent this by a subscriber, and it said, "Hey, check this out. Tell me what you think." This is her addressing a situation between, I guess, a fellow subscriber of hers who went on another panel, Ticket TV, and I guess they had, a conversation or whatever. The conversation didn't go as planned or as she hoped, and she went back to the Woman's Spheres channel and they had a conversation. So this is the aftermath of the conversation. Um, the reason why I feel like this is a great opportunity to have this conversation is because I don't know about most. I can't speak about everybody, right? J-Lo Rich, I see you. Jada. I can't speak about most people, right? Oh, my bad. My bad. My daughter did that. But I can tell you that, what I'm saying, I believe that the problem between men and women is that everybody wants to be right. You know what I'm saying? And then not only that is people think that people are going to sit down and one, take you serious, and then two, they're going to sit down and listen to you disrespect them. I refuse to sit down with a woman or a man that calls me names. If you know your worth, then you're not going to sit down and take any abuse. It's zero tolerance. That's something that you should understand. That's something that you should be teaching your children, something you should be teaching your family members and friends. There is a zero tolerance for disrespect. And I listen to these people that have these strong messages, like for some reason have become master debaters on YouTube. And everything that they say, their points are relevant for some reason. But the fact of the matter is, everybody for some reason feels like the only way to win an argument is by calling you names. And then especially when you get this black man versus black woman thing or whatever, and then we use the narrative of how white people are better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My thought process is, what boardroom, what office build, what location are you going to where you're able to sit down in front of white people and call white people names like you do on social media? If we say that we're the most educated and we're the most successful and this, that, my thought process is, why can't you come up with names that are not derogatory? I understand you're passionate. I understand you're speaking with conviction. I understand you're speaking from your experience, and you feel a certain type of way about how things are going. People are not fulfilling their roles. People are not understanding their responsibilities and duties. And I get that. I totally get it. I understand. That's both men and women. My thought process is, it seems like the stronger opinionated your concern is, the more disrespect that comes with the narrative. Now I'm going to play this commentary. I played Cynthia G's. I played Red Supreme. I played Kevin Samuels. I played Derrick Jackson. I like to listen to both manosphere and womansphere, red pill, blue pill, black pill, pink pill, so I can get a better understanding, a better feel for the pulse of the issues that go on between men and women, especially black men and women. And my thought process is, how come we can't have a conversation without calling each other names? That's the starting point right there. A mutual ground and level of respect to show how educated you are. There are plenty words in your vernacular. There's plenty words in the thesaurus. Why is it that we have to call each other names and then say, well, the other side, the other people, them over there? There is a lot of deflecting that goes on between men and women. And I don't know if it's for clout, clickbait, subscribers, donations, I don't, attention, I don't know what it is, but it's like my thought process. I heard something real key inside this, and I'm gonna play it for you guys, and I'm gonna be quiet. The woman sphere and the other panelists said, men don't listen. Well, I'm going to tag you in this, and I'm going to listen. I'm not gonna call you names. Let's try that. Let's try a mutual level of respect instead of just saying, well, I disrespected him because he disrespected me. He called me a name. So let me not call you a name, and let me sit down and actually listen to your commentary and see what it is that you say when you're speaking. Here we go.
When black women try, this is the thing that's another thing that stands out to me about black men when you try and have these conversations with them about why black women are, not really feeling them anymore. We don't believe in them anymore. It's just like whatever. So it's like when we try to explain to them why that is, they literally do not get it. And so it's like when you walk away from the whole conversation, they still want to call you an angry black woman. They don't feel, so he pointed out all the key factors, y'all. Ticket TV pointed.
I'm gonna let that rock out. But here's my thought process, okay? Real quick. If somebody has done something to violate you, misuse your trust, take you for granted, treat you as if you're not the person that you say you are, you have every right to have a concern. You have every right to be angry. You have every right to speak on those concerns. My issue is that the individual that hurt you, or the individuals that hurt you, they do not represent the collective. Now, when I hear a lot of these content creators speak, it's always talking about the collectives. It's never Mike or Michael or Quisha or Kwame or whatever, whoever, you know what I'm saying? It's never this person did this to me. It's always the collective, and it always has to be mitigated to I'm speaking on all because of some. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know successful black men and women, that's because your circle or sphere of influence is small. That means you haven't got out and network to see successful people. I know successful black men and women, and they don't sit online and they don't promote all. They don't promote the collective. And I feel like a lot of these people who have these strong messages, both men and women, to me don't come across as balanced. Because if you have a successful relationship, professional and personal, let me say that again, professional and personal, then you speak differently. Now, if you allow someone to speak long enough, they end up revealing themselves. And my thing about it is, you end up revealing that either you're really trying to do something to win the hearts and pull the heartstrings of people who've been damaged by certain relationships, individual relationships, or you're really broken yourself, or a combination of both. We need to get back to having a tough conversation, but it needs to start with a minimalistic, respect. But everybody wants to be right. This is what I hear when I hear a lot of these content creators, it's like I'm right because. I'm right because. And sometimes, you can be right. But that doesn't mean the other person is wrong. That means that you guys have two different points of views. You've lived two different lifestyles. You had a different level of success rate. So of course you're going to have a different outlook. Men are going to have a different outlook and perspective than women. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. But who am I to tell women that they're wrong and vice versa? I just feel like all of the disrespect being added to the conversation, but then you expect people to listen to you as if they're your children. I think that's wrong, and I think that's unrealistic.
Now, all the key factors, and you guys, if you want, you can look him up. He's an ashtray that does content about sports and shit like that, but he's still nonetheless an ashtray. He didn't understand the need to compete. He didn't understand that. He placed all sense of responsibility on Black women's shoulders. He did not understand why Black women were upset. Now, let me tell you something that they do. They are the masters of deflection. That we do know, right? And they're master manipulators. He literally manipulated Annalicia to even get her up on the channel. So he already knows that he's in some type of level of competing, but his level of competing is competing against women. One of the questions that he kept asking her throughout the conversation was, what about Black women? What about Black women? Black women do this. Black women do that. But Black women.
Uncle Stu, this is the Woman's Sphere podcast. I don't know if you caught the beginning, but she is speaking about a panelist who's going to speak after she finishes. They're on the same panel on her channel, and they're talking about the panelists going on Ticket TV's channel and having a conversation. So this is the feedback that she got from the panel. So this is what I'm listening to now.
I mean, at this point, we can turn it into a funky disco because it's Black women. Black women. What about them? What about what they do? They don't do shit. Black women. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What about Black women? So you mean to tell me, and then what he said about his sister. But let me land my point first.
Good morning.
So you mean to tell me that you don't compete with men, but by asking the question, what about Black women, that shows that you compete with who? Women. You compete, and not all women, because you know you ain't competing with no white girl. You know you ain't competing with no white girl. So you compete with Black women. You don't compete with nobody else. But when it comes to Black women, you got time. And then when Annalicia explained to him, if the men are men, the women have to step into more masculine roles, right? He said that his sister is in a masculine role, and when a man meets her, he'll know that she's a woman because she already knows what to do for herself as a woman. And see, here's the thing. I don't directly go against that. But basically what he did was describe his sister as the same strong Black woman he's arguing against. He's arguing against. So you're arguing against the strong Black woman rhetoric. You don't want that woman. That's the problem with the community. He's strong. So you're arguing against that, but you describe your sister as such with respect. And you know why you describe your sister as such with respect? Because you ain't fucking your sister. See, you want your daughter to have the mindset that we women have. You want your mother to have that mindset, and you want your sister to have that mindset, but you want your woman to be an idiot. You know why you need your woman to be an idiot, Ticket TV? Because won't no smart woman like your sister And your mama and your auntie that you want to think like that, fuck with you. They won't fuck with you because they see what you is. They see you a fuck boy. They see you don't amount to anything. They see that they'll be wasting their time dealing with you. They see that. And see, you don't want that for your sister, right? You don't want that for your sister. But you want that for the woman you deal with. And that says a lot about you. What's up, Annalicia?
This girl had me dying. This girl said, "Can you hear me?"
Yeah, I hear you. You're very clear, yes.
This girl said, "Oh no, you are talking about no white girl. Listen, man, I really, I'm done with black men. Actually, really, this might have been one of the last black men in this space. Oh, and shout out, hi, beautiful Kina, hi everybody in the chat. But this might have been the last. This is the last time. I'm really done, and I think that collectively they're the same. I think that their pathology it's too pervasive. It's too much. It's you cannot deny it. You can't deny it. I was really looking forward to just having a conversation. He said at some point Dusty Kwame Brown would be joining, and I told him,
So I don't know if you guys understand where I'm coming from, and I'm really hoping that she does a reply, and I'm hoping that she could do it respectfully. But the fact of the matter is, it's like Alicia, I believe I'm saying her name correctly. She comes on the Woman's Sphere panel and says, now, the Woman's Sphere has already said, fuck boy and this and this and this. So she comes and says, I want to talk to, I was at some point in time, Dusty Kwame Brown was supposed to come on the panel. Who wants to talk to someone calling them Dusty? I just want to ask you guys something. Like, for you guys that are paying your bills, you're living your best life, you're being great parents, you're in successful relationships, you have businesses. You understand what I'm saying? You have reached a certain level where you're comfortable with your life. You are a boss. If you heard someone call you Dusty, would you be running to have a conversation with them? If you heard someone calling you names, would you be running to have a conversation with them? Would you give them your time and your energy? Because if it was my child, I would tell my child, no, it's no need to have a conversation with them. If they can't respect you before the conversation, what makes you think they're going to respect you in the conversation? But here's the thing, it's not just the woman's side, it's the men's side too. We make up all of these names and we promote this rhetoric like I'm going to call you names and disrespect you, but I want a conversation. I want to hop on a panel with you. So maybe I don't understand that. And that's why I said I'm not going to sit here and call you names. I'm not going to disrespect you. So that way, when you get this clip, when someone says, hey, this guy called ToughLove, he was talking about you, and you come and you check this out, you'll hear that I didn't call you any names, and I sat down and I played your video to the extent where I can get an understanding and a feel about who you are. Your name calling is unnecessary. And if you think someone is a Dusty or a fuck boy or whatever case may be, why put yourself in a position to talk to them? Why are they relevant? Because that's what you're saying. You're saying that these people are relevant, which is the only reason that you're mentioning them, the only reason that you want to have a conversation with them, because it's not to really build anything. It's not to say, hey, let men and women come together, have the tough conversation. But you can't do that if you're already starting the conversation with disrespect. I don't care if you're a man or you're a woman. I'm calling fair and impartial. It's not no one-dimensional message over here. It's balanced. If you want to fix the problem, you got to start with a little generosity, a little common sense, a little respect. You listen to you while you call me Dusty, you call me fuck boy, you call me this, you call me that, and then vice versa. You want me to listen to you as you talk about this, about women, and talk about that. And it's like that's the reason why it's like fuel is being poured on a fire. No one that's successful No one that understands their worth. No one that is actually doing adult shit in real life is going to sit down and listen to someone disrespect them and then turn around and say, well, now that I've disrespected you, now that I done gained subscribers, now that I done gained donations, I done gained views, now let's have a conversation. For what? For what? You've already told me how you felt. You've already told me that whatever I say, you're ready to nitpick. You're ready to go to war. I'm coming to the conversation with a microphone. You're coming to the conversation with a bullhorn. I'm coming to the conversation with a pencil. You're coming to the conversation with a machine gun. It's different. It's different. Do you want things to be fixed or do you not? If you don't want things to be fixed and you want to keep up the distraction and the chaos and the nonsense and the drama, then say that. Then say that. Let's stop acting as if our side is better than that side and that side is better than this side. Come on, you're all doing the same shit. You are all doing the same shit. But then everybody's acting like, well, we're promoting a difference. What we're doing makes a difference. No, what you're doing is promoting distraction. And then I ask myself, are you doing these things in front of your kids, in front of your family members, in front of your friends, in front of your colleagues? Like, where are you promoting this rhetoric at? In a closet? I don't know any successful black business owners that promote stuff like this publicly that are successful. I don't know. Well, let me talk about all these black men. Not if you want products and services used. Not if you are a successful entrepreneur with an EIN number. You got taxes to break down. Hey, listen, I get paid. Trust me. I got employees. Trust me. I have to ask myself, are these people actually successful in real life? Or are they just doing it for show? And if you're just doing it for show, I would really respect you saying that up front versus trying to build this narrative that what you're saying as the master debater is all correct. I went to college, right? Now, I wasn't on the debate team in college, but in high school, I definitely was on a debate team. You know what was not tolerated? Disrespect, calling names. We go from a factual principle, all right? And we state details that can be found factually. It's not just a whole bunch of opinions and emotions. And a lot of this is like, well, let me call you names and throw a fact in there. Let me call you names and use statistics. And it's like, well, first of all, when you start calling me names, you already lost. You already debunked your own conversation. That's a lot of people say the Nyla Says and the Cynthia G's and the Woman Sphere and the CrysLogic and all of these people, you know what I'm saying, the Red Supremes. Like, a lot of people use these statistics, but in the midst of the statistics, they're calling you names. They're calling you names. No one is going to sit down and say, your statistic, they're not going to say they agree with you. Fact or not, because the fact of the matter is that once you open the door to disrespect, you change the conversation, no matter what you think you're adding to it. The sky can be blue, but since you called me a fuckboy, the sky ain't blue, it ain't navy blue, aqua blue, it ain't blue. If you want to have a conversation, and you have to be serious and adult enough to have a conversation, stop calling names like children.
I'm apprehensive about this because in the past when I've been on your panels, I've been attacked. And he's like, well, it was about me, I respect you. Having a conversation with him was like, okay, but me, what about me? Don't worry about the majority like me. And it's like, unless I did that, you're bashing all black men. You're against him. You don't respect him. You're not a good person. You don't like him. Black men are they're so egotistical. Like, I don't even know. That was my last. I really thought that Ticket TV was someone that really wanted to be a protector of black women. I thought that he was someone who had good intentions for black women. I just thought he was cool people. Like, he talks basketball. Everyone once in a while has dipped his toe in the the political pool and talk politics or talk social, like, stuff that's happening in media. But he really, really, at one point he said, this is something that Kwame Brown would say. Oh, you're in quicksand now. Yeah, now I'm Kwame. Now, yeah, that's what Kwame would say. So now, so yeah, it's him and Kwame have the same mind. Talking to him was like, it's like talking to a 10-year-old. I would be on the verge of making an extremely poignant point, something obviously relevant to the topic, and then he would cut me off, stop me, and say, "Okay, well, what about Father's Day? Oh, what about? Oh, well, how come Black men are not recognized for Father's Day? That's a problem." So that's the problem in the Black community. Not that, and this is what I said, not that there are not enough Black men actually there to celebrate Father's Day, but because they're not getting recognized for Father's Day. This is the problem in the Black community. This is the plight. This is what's making the environment unsafe. This is what's shooting down the women and children and other Black men. Like, he kept on really deducing the conversation to the most trivial talking points. I'm done. I'm done, Angela. No, I'm done. They're all the same. They're all the same. I can't find one redeeming quality. I can't make one differentiation. None. They are all the same. Like, just now he messaged me. He said, "Your spirit, something about my spirit." And before I got out of there, he was talking about, I know what's happened. Like, as if he's about to say something revelatory, right? As if he's about to say something I never heard, something something important. He says, "Wait a minute, stop the presses." I know what this is.
I hear you, Paul. Here's my thought process. You know, it's so funny because when we talk about like debating, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a lot of Black people who've never been on a debate team, period. So it's interesting now that YouTube, you know, has helped nourish these platforms where you can just come on, start a channel, talk about whatever you want, and really there is no responsibility. There is no, of course you have the YouTube community standards, but let's just be real. You can get away with some things on YouTube. I'm listening to the second person, Alicia, talk about Ticket TV, and I'm hoping that he hears me when I say this. What's interesting is she's watched your channel. She's watched your channel to break down what it is that you talk about and how you talk about it. He talks about sports and he dabbles in politics from time to time. So you already kind of knew his thought process. And at some point in time, you sat back and said, okay, I'm going to subscribe to his channel. Because you said that you thought he was one of the last men that you could actually listen to and have a conversation, maybe gain some ground in this confusion of Black men versus Black women. Then when the conversation, I guess, it doesn't spark or it doesn't do or go in the direction you want it to go, you then go to another channel holder and call him names. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody's not going to always see your point of view. If you are a content creator on YouTube, okay, or on any social media platform, this is the interesting part. I see people complain and says, you know, all these people making videos about me, all these people making videos about me. If you decide that you want to make a video, it is only fair that people make a video in response or in reaction to you. The issue is that as long as the reaction is great, people can make videos. But if someone makes a video questioning the validity of what you're saying, oh hell no, it's a bunch of haters and clout chasers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the thought process is, you're exactly right, Paul. People don't know how to have a conversation. They do not know how to have a conversation. They do not know how to reply to pressure. So the only way to reply is to call you names and to think that you are winning the argument. My pastor, he pisses me off because he don't preach the sermon I think he should be preaching. So I go to the pastor and I say, motherfucker, you see, this is what's wrong with your punk ass. You never ever do what it is that you need to motherfucking... I'm talking to the pastor like this, and the pastor like, do you expect me to stand here and listen to this? Can you imagine having an issue with your spouse, you know, somebody that you care about, and you go to them and you say, yo, stupid ass, this is what, but you expect them to stand there and take your verbal abuse. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. When you curse at someone, that is verbal abuse. And guess what? In my book, verbal abuse is the same as physical abuse. It's abuse. And for some reason, we tend, I don't care if it's the woman's fear or the man's fear, we tend to overlook that. Now we just had Domestic Violence Month. Awareness. Mental, physical, emotional abuse. How do we skip past that now? Oh, what I'm doing is not abuse. When I'm talking and bashing women, that's not abuse. When I'm talking and bashing men, that's not abuse. When I'm talking about the community and cursing them, that's not abuse. How is it not abuse? How do you put yourself above the fold and say, well, when I call him a fuckboy, that's not abuse. When I call him a dusty, that's not abuse. When I call them a BT this and a that, and none of that's abuse. They're just comments. We just playing. We friends. Do you want to fix the problem, or do you want to add fuel to the problem? That's the real question. You want me to listen to you, I'm listening. But you got to listen to me. You see what I'm saying? So if you can't use the narrative, well, he cursed me out. He called me names. If you can't use that narrative, then what narrative do we use now? What narrative do we use now? Oh, he's a dusty. He's wearing blue. He's a dusty because he got a beard. What narrative do we, if you got somebody that says, I hear what you're saying, I understand where you're coming from, but how you're trying to get there, better yet, where are you trying to get to? What is it that you're trying to accomplish with how you're speaking to people? Because my thought process, I could sit down and have a conversation with you all day, but you're not going to disrespect me. I wouldn't tell my daughters to sit down with no man that's sitting there disrespecting them and then expect, oh, you know, we're just trying to have a conversation. Then watch your tone. Watch your tone. Don't talk to them like that. But I don't understand how we're in this state of mind where, because you're a man, I can be aggressive with you. I can say these things to you, and you're supposed to take it because you got a dick and balls. I can talk to you as a woman like this because you're a black woman, so I can just say whatever I want, because now you say, oh, black women are strong and black women are... Bro, human beings do not deserve to be violated because you're trying to make a point. Because you need to feel empowered because someone hurt you somewhere down the line. I have nothing to do with that. If I meet you at Walmart, I meet you at the club, I meet you at church, a daycare, please don't treat me like that. Please don't walk up to me and disrespect me because I'm a black man and because you've sat down hours upon hours saying how all these black men are beneath white men. I don't feel beneath. When Ticket TV says I am not competing, well, my thought process is, you know, we all wake up every day with this notation of we're trying to get the best we can out of life today. We're trying to get the best we can out of life today. And here's what that really encompasses, right? I want to make sure that my children are safe. I want to make sure that when I go to the gym, you know what I'm saying, I get back safely, have a good workout. I want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, when I'm dealing with, you know what I'm saying, the person that I love and I care about, they understand where I'm coming from. They understand that, you know, I'm committed to the situation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want to make sure that the way, you know what I'm saying, my residual income is still popping. I want to make sure, there are certain things that I want to make sure that happens within the things that I can control. I am not fighting the world every time I wake up. I am not putting on a cape saying, all the white people beware. I'm only worried about the things that I can control. I want my children to be safe. I want the women in my life, whether it's my mother, whether it's my sister, whether it's my cousin, whether it's my friends, I want them to be safe. I don't want to sit here and talk to them crazy and then expect them to respect me. I don't want them to talk to me crazy. So if we really have respect and we really trying to build and we really trying to control the narrative, I'm not going to change systematic racism overnight. I ain't going to change black on black crime overnight. The only thing I can do is be an example for the things that I can control. I heard somebody say, man, listen, you gotta go live when you go and feed the homeless, when you passing out coats and you passing out soup. You gotta go live to show everybody what you're doing. Well, to me, that takes the being genuine out of the question. Out of the equation. It takes being genuine and sincere when you have to show everybody, look, y'all, look at all the homeless people. Yay. Hey, homeless people, wave. Look, tell them how I come down here 2 days a week. Come on now, homeless people. Who the fuck is doing that? Who's doing that? What you need to see is me going live, being sincere, looking at the goddamn camera, saying I don't have to call you a name to articulate what it is that I need to say to you. Let's build. But if you don't want to build, I would respect you more if you say, I really ain't trying to build shit. I'm just trying to get my numbers right, get my views right, get these donations, and I'm on. Stop pretending you're trying to build something. You are the difference. What you're saying is going to glue the men and the women back together, or we're going to divest from the men because we are so strong without these men. I know as much educated black men as I know as much educated black females. And it's a shame that you sit online and you say, statistically, this, statistically, that, statistically, and it's like, man, shit. Imagine my friends or family members or colleagues sitting down and saying, Mario J is online talking about how bad black women are. He's online talking about how bad the black community is, how bad black men are. And I've made a living at doing it. I've made a living at driving a stake into the hearts and minds of everyone that is of this gender, of that race. And in some type of way, you know, people have now said, oh girl, what you're saying is empowering. How is calling someone a dusty and a trash bag and a fuckboy, how is that empowering you? How is saying, oh, let me talk about her makeup, her eyelashes, her goddammit, her butt implants. Let me talk about all this shit that you ain't pay for. None of that has anything to do with fathers being in the homes. The thought process is this. You see what I'm saying? Are there a lot of black men not in the homes? Well, let's rewind that. There are a lot of men, period, not in the homes. There are a lot of relationships that didn't happen, period. So the focal point is, I'm just going to point out black men not being in the homes. But what about all of the black men that are in the homes? What about, we talk about women and how ratchet and loud and how disrespectful they are. But what about the women that do not display those characteristics? So here's my thought process. I had a friend, man. She was bougie as hell. Hell, she's still bougie, right? And she was like, I ain't like them ratchet girls. I don't wear color in my hair and I don't snap my fingers when I talk. I ain't like them. But every time she get a little bit of alcohol in her, you can't tell them apart. But she makes this stand as if I am not like them, those over there. Let me separate myself. And my thought process is, when the truth comes out, are you going to be able to handle it? When the truth comes out, are you going to be able to handle it? Not even to a point where I'm tired of hearing all of the bashing of black men and black women. I'm tired of trying to understand the why. And really, it just boils down to people want clicks and views and subscribers and will say anything to fit a niche. They will say anything. Statistically, black men have not done this. Statistically, black women have not done this. But what about what you doing? Respectfully. Right? You gotta say respectfully, right? Ain't that the key? Respectfully. What about what you're doing to help pour fuel on the fire? What about the discontentment and the chaos and the nonsense and the drama and the gossip that you promote, that you stir in the pot and you say, oh, we cooking up some bullshit today, y'all. You wake up with this, oh man, how can I destroy the black race today? Oh my God. Mom, are we gonna eat breakfast? No, you go eat cereal because mommy got work to do. Hey, daddy got work to do today. Hey, for real, it's time to take 3 steps backwards, black community. Here we go.
I know what's going on.
See, this is, let me just interject just for a second. So ZB says, get you a white man and call it a life. End of problems. That's not the end of problems, actually. And I detest that thought process because we don't praise any man over here on the channel. On my channel, see, I'm not like the divestment channels. We don't praise any men. We don't place no man above another. All you motherfuckers can kiss my motherfucking ass, okay?
Let it breathe. I want you to let that breathe what just happened. We don't praise any men. We don't praise the good men that we know. We don't praise the good fathers. We don't praise the good sons. We don't praise the good uncles, the good colleagues. We don't praise any men, no matter how good they are, no matter how truthful we know they are, no matter how loyal they are, no matter how they've helped us in our life. We don't praise none of them. We don't give any of them the benefit of the doubt. And you're saying that that is fair and impartial. You're saying that that is going to promote a balanced conversation. I'm not throwing shots and I'm not throwing shade. I'm listening because they're going to say this. We wish that these men would just listen. I'm listening. And what you're telling me is that when you see me as a father, you see me as a retired Army warrant officer, you see me as a business owner, a home owner, you see me as someone credible, you won't give me any type of, okay, that will go ignored because you pushing the narrative that all is negative, all is bad, all is this and all is that is more important. Your platform can't be balanced if you say that. It can't be balanced. Because here's the thing, it's disingenuous. You can't tell me you don't know any positive black men. You can't tell me that there are no men in your life that are worthy of being praised. A brother, a uncle or something. A father. 0 men. And the women sit down and say this. You right. There are no men worth praising. No men. Not a police officer, not a fireman, not a doctor, not a lawyer, not a judge. There are no black men. 0. No men, period. So how is the conversation balanced? How is your conversation needed? You're trying to empower women to do what? Go back to school, lose weight, become business owners, travel, fix their credit, build their self-esteem, know their love languages, learn how to communicate better. What are you trying to build women to do? Because my thought process is, if you're not giving men any credit, even though you know good men, but you refuse to give them any credit, what are you trying to do? Let's listen. Let's listen.
So yeah, just get that one point clear. Nobody's praising no white man over here.
Yeah, but her channel is Woman's Sphere, so I can assure you, this is not male-centered narratives or dialogue over here. Believe me, you're not going to get that way with Angela, and that's why we love her. She offers that balance. She offers, and
why is the word balance even coming up? What is balanced about what she just said? What is balanced? If I have an issue with men, right? Let's just say my sister or my daughters, they go to her channel or whatever, and I'm having an issue, like the relationship didn't work out. Hey, one of my male colleagues pissed me off. Just something has happened with men. If I go to your channel, you know what it's going to do, and you know what it's going to promote? That the issue that I have with the men, they promoted it. It's their fault. It has nothing to do with me and how I think and how I carry myself. It's they're the issue because they're men. They're the issue because they're black men, white men, Hispanic men, Oriental men. The fact that they got dick and balls, they the problem. And you call that balance. I call it delusional. I call it dysfunctional. Now, before we get on to this, oh, well, he must be red pilled, he must be blue. I ain't none of those fucking pills. I don't belong to the fucking manosphere, and I damn sure don't belong to the women's sphere. I'm calling it straight down the middle, fair and impartial. All of y'all full of shit. All of y'all full of shit. I don't see the connection. All I see is a bunch of hurt people gathering up saying, they are the problem. The hell with them. Deflect. Nobody wants to come in the middle and say, man, let's build, bro. But the first thing we need to do is come together and stop disrespecting each other. I don't get it. Maybe I'm lost. Am I lost? Maybe I'm lost. I start the conversation with disrespect. Before I get you on the panel, before I get you to my page, I'm going to tag your name and I'm going to say a bunch of disrespectful shit about you. And then I'm going to expect you to either do a video reply or come on the panel so I can have my entire chat room gang up on you. And we all going to disrespect you. But we don't know you in real life, though. But these are grown black men and women. These are supposedly educated people, master debaters, people who can use a vernacular. Wow, look at their vocabulary. Look at them go. Whoa. And the best thing we could do is say dusty trash bags, BT 1000s, and this, that, and the third. And it's like, man, what are you accomplishing right now? Entertainment at its worst. Entertainment at its worst. All of the praising of white people on these black content creator channels and telling black men you are inferior to white men. Well, if we're inferior, aren't you inferior? If we're inferior as black men to white men, aren't you as a black woman inferior to a white woman? Then you get to a point where you say, well, black men are even inferior to white women. Well, I don't understand how you exclude yourself and your gender and your race from the conversation. These colleges are not just birthing graduates that are women. There are colleges that are predominantly birthing males, black males with education, especially here in Houston. So for somebody to sit back and like, oh, these uneducated black men and these you know what's so crazy about it is I find that people have the lowest credit scores. They're not homeowners. They don't have any car that is within the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't go to a lot and get anything. You see what I'm saying? They have zero credit. You see, they never traveled outside their city. Maybe 3 years ago, and that's because somebody died. I find that the people that deliver all of this hate speech have very little to offer themselves or society. I'm just finding that. I'm finding that out because my thing about it is put your resume up, then talk shit. Show me the white men or the white women that are running after you saying, I want to marry you. You are the epitome of what I've been looking for. So you cheerleading, talking about, black men are under white men. Show me all of the white men that are running behind you. Show us. It's only fair. It's only fair. It's only fair that you show us the white men that are uplifting you. Since black men are failing, black men are full of shit. Black men can't get it together. They don't want to be fathers. They don't want to be committed. They are inconsistent. They are uneducated. They are thugs. They are criminals. They are all this shit. Show us the white men that are doing it better, that deal with you. Don't say Brad, don't say Chad, don't say Chris, don't say Mike. Show us the white men. They can come on your show. There's a long track record of y'all dealing with each other. They're doing business with you. They're having babies with you. Show us these men. That's why Ticket TV says I'm not in competition with an imaginary friend that you have, an imaginary obsession that you have. I am not in competition. Do I understand the importance of black men being role models, providers, and protectors? You goddamn right. You goddamn right. Do the women in my life understand their roles and what they need to do as women? Not only just black women, but as women, you goddamn right. That's the reason I have them in my life. But for some reason, I never hear, especially the black women, say I feel inferior to white men. I feel inferior to white women. I never hear the black people around me that's successful say they feel inferior to anyone. Why do you feel inferior? Why do you? That's really the question. Why do you feel inferior?
You guys, you know what's funny? Let me tell you something about Angela. Before I did the interview, Angela said, don't do it. If I had a nickel for every time that I sought out Angela's advice, and she gave me the advice, sound advice, don't do it. Her advice has always been no. It's like, hey, can I do this? Should I? No. Don't go over there. Don't have the conversation. Hey, it would be fun, theoretically.
You know why people who promote these one-dimensional messages don't want you to go and talk to people? Because they want to make sure that nothing blossoms positive. So they're going to put all of the negative on you and promote all of the negative versus saying, hey, the conversation is probably going to be difficult, but stay the course. The conversation is probably going to get a little tense, but stay the course. It's no need to call names. If you as a woman come to a man's panel and call names, you're not the victor. If you as a man come to a woman's panel and call names, you're not the victor. I don't know why people feel like the more names I call you, the more empowered I look, the more of a victor I look. It makes you look childish and it makes you look ignorant. You're not the winner. Like in real life, that doesn't happen. Like you can't go in the bank and be like, well, what do you mean I can't get this loan? Well, fuck you. Yeah, I cursed him out. I showed him, but you didn't get the loan. You didn't get the loan. You didn't win anything. You embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed your family. You embarrassed the people who know you or vouch for you. You didn't win anything.
But don't do it. Because in reality, A, B, and C is going to happen. Guess what happened, guys? A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. Everything that Angela said was going to happen, happened. It's a problem. I was really holding out hope that this person would be the last of an obviously dying breed. The breed is dead. It's extinct. Angela tells me every time, Annalisa, don't do it. I know the setup. I know the whole play. I read the playbook. It's a setup. This guy had 1,000 people. Angela, was it like 1,000 people in the chat almost?
It was 976 people in the chat.
By now it's like 1,000. All of them were denigrating. All of them were leaving pejorative messages. All of them. Every single last one of them. Angela said, Anna, don't do it. What did Annalisa do? She did it. I was really hoping that Ticket was going to prove Angela wrong. So that maybe tomorrow or the next day, Angela would be like, oh, this guy's different, Anna. We could probably all chop it up and maybe we could set up something where we can actually talk to him or Dusty Kwame or whatever. He's different.
Why do you say Dusty Kwame? And why do people have to prove that they're different? People that you don't know, people that don't pay your bills. Why do you feel like they need to prove something to you? That goes for men and women. People don't have to prove a motherfucking thing to you. You know what I'm saying? They're not a part of your world. They're not a part of your everyday. They're not a part of your family. They're probably not even your friends. You go to these content creators' pages, and they make themselves available in reference to be critiqued based on what they report, based on what their content is about. That's what you critique. That's what you talk about. Them personally, okay, as a man or a woman, don't have to prove anything to you. Can you imagine me going to Cynthia G's channel and say, you gotta prove to me? What? Come to Tough Love. You gotta prove to me tough love. What? I gotta prove a motherfucking thing to you. I gotta prove to you. If you want to have the conversation, you will have the conversation. But what you won't do is disrespect me and then act like you want to have a conversation. Act like you're promoting balance when you're really promoting division. Again, this goes for men and women. Because what I notice is if I get on here and I say that women wrong, men are cheerleading. If I get on here and say that men are wrong, women are cheerleading. If I get on here and say that the black community is wrong, then we got other people that hate the black community as well, cheerleading. There is always a niche. There's always a bandwagon or roller coaster to ride. Okay, everybody like this celebrity. Okay, let's jump on that bandwagon. Everybody hate this. Okay, let me jump on that bandwagon. There are very few people with integrity left that promote a message that brings people together. Won't we divest from negativity? Won't we divest from hate speech? Won't we divest from calling each other names? Won't we divest from this whole I'm going to debate you with statistics that really, do you fall into those statistics? I'm talking about successful people. Show me the successful people that can sit down and have a conversation that have something to bring to the table. It's always a motherfucker that has nothing to bring to the table, yelling and screaming, what you bring to the table? You got a fucking table with no legs, a table with no chairs, a table with no condiments, a table with no food. You want to know what I gotta prove to you what I bring to the table. And you ain't got a table. You ain't got a house. You ain't got a car. You can't get a loan. You got bad credit. You got a bad attitude. You're self-centered. You don't know how to communicate. You're overly emotional. You're too aggressive. God damn, I gotta prove to you something. Somebody come get this tough love. Somebody come get this tough love. You shouldn't have to prove to anybody unless you're courting them, unless you're dating them and saying, hey, I'm serious about getting to know you. Then that's when your resume counts. But right now, if you're a content creator, guess what your resume is? Your content. Your balanced or non-balanced content. I'm just saying, that's what your resume is. Huh? That's what your resume is. Let me check your credentials. Let's get into it. Let me go online, type in your name, and see what pops up. Divest from black men. Okay, the CEO of this company is a black man. You can't work here. Disrespect black women. The CEO of this company is a black woman. She's probably not going to agree with this rhetoric. You can't work here. Abort black babies. Well, the CEO is married to a black man and they just lost their child. They didn't want to lose their child, but they lost their child. You probably can't work here. Do y'all understand how this shit plays hand in hand? How a lot of these content creators hide in YouTube and the small black sector and they talk all of this nonsense. And then, but when you take it and you say, hey y'all, let's go mainstream with this and see how people like it. Here you go. Hey, pastor that deals with this lady. Hey, doctor that deals with this lady. Hey, police officers that deal with this man. Hey, teachers that deal with this man. Bro, your message is only good on a small sector of YouTube. This goes for men and women. There's no balance to it. There's no togetherness. There's no empowerment to it. The same heartstrings are being pulled. Have you been victimized? Has something happened to you bad in a relationship? Do you want to blame the other person and deflect? Well, here's the channel for you.
Chaos. But he's
chaos.
The same.
You're right.
It's the same black man.
Let me tell you something I don't ever want to do. I don't want to befriend your dusty ashtray boyfriends. I don't want to be doo-wop boys. I don't want to be your backup singers.
Stop
I
putting
want
that
to,
damn
like,
ash.
because I feel like when I agree with a fucking ashtray degenerate, I'm placing myself as your backup singer because we know that all black men are what? Performative.
Okay, performative. um, she says if she agrees with a black man, she feels like she is a backup dancer or whatever the case may be. What they say about a broken clock? A broken clock can be right 2 times a day. So you mean to tell me that if you agree with a man that is speaking the truth, if you say, you know what, tough love, what you're saying is absolutely right. We need to stop disrespecting one another, and we actually need to have a conversation, or we need to be truthful with our audience and say, well, I'm really not here to do anything empowering. I don't really care about these women that's on my platform. I don't care about these men that's on my platform. I'm just here for the check. Say that. Say it. But they're too afraid to say it. So they promote this narrative of, I'm doing this for the greater good. I'm doing this to open your eyes. I'm doing this to pull my sisters to the promised land. I'm pulling my brothers to the promised land. And really what you're doing is you're pulling them further and further away from people they should be loving, people they should be getting counseling with, people they should be protecting, people they should be working with. But what you're saying is, don't work with people who look like you. Don't work with your sisters. Don't work with your brothers. Don't work with your husbands. Don't work with your wives. Leave your children to run amok. Chaos. Chaos.
They're performative. They do not give a fuck about the collective. They just want you to feel that way. They want you to have the idea of the collective in your mind. But when you say that you feel exactly, essentially, we feel exactly the same way they feel.
Mm.
Because they are going to tell you, I just care about my sister and my mama and my cousins and my woman. I ain't got to give fuck about these bitches. Okay, so neither do I. Let's shake on it. And you go away and I'll go away. Cool. Fine. See, when you start getting on that level of returning energy, return it. Like a fuck, I'm telling you,
returning energy. This is tough love returning energy to the woman's sphere, to the manosphere, to all of the pills that's out there, and to all of these negative ass content creators. Stop trying to divide us. Stop trying to pimp people on their pain. Stop trying to pull people's heartstrings. Stop trying to validate your channel and your message on how much you can separate people, not from negative people, but from people who look like them. Stop trying to put a target on people's back just because of their skin tone or because of their gender. I said it without disrespecting you. I said it and I listened to you. And I listened to others like you. And the thought process is, we always want to use statistics, but we use them in the wrong way. We use them in the wrong way. Because here's the thing. Even Nyla says, hey, I got a good husband. Hey, my father was good. And people had an issue with that. People have an issue with someone saying individually, I don't have those problems, so I can't promote the collective. Do those things exist? Yeah, they exist. There's some issues out there, man. There are some issues out there. And nobody's living perfect lives. Everybody has something that they're dealing with, they're trying to overcome, whether it's a low self-esteem, whether it's a lack of income, a death in the family, no job. It's something going on that causes us to say, man, I am not at 100% right now. I need help. You make it bad. And when I say you all make it bad for people to ask for help. You make it bad for people to be vulnerable. You make it bad for people to say, you know what, I'm not at my best and I need someone to understand. Maybe they've been through this. They're scared to have the conversation with you because all you do is condemn them. Black men, if you're not perfect, black women, if you're not perfect, and even if you try, we won't even tell you, good job, keep going. We're not cheerleading for you all. We're not promoting you all. We're not giving you your standing ovation. We're not giving you your flowers. And then you wonder why these men or women are marrying outside their race. Because you refuse to do certain things. Stop acting like it's beneath you to say, man, I see you over there being positive. I'm proud of you. That's too much. But when they see you over there doing negative, you want them to cheer, you want them to promote, and you want them to donate. This goes for men and women. Not just women, not just men. Let's get back to it.
Turn to sender. Okay, you sent for me. And in the great wise words of Kenya Moore, don't send for me unless I send for you, bitch. So since you sent for me, it's return to motherfucking sender. Now I feel the exact same way, and so don't most black women. We no longer give a fuck about that foot on your neck, that spiritual foot on your motherfucking neck. We no longer care anymore. You didn't.
Normally when you have one foot, you have another foot. Where is the other foot? If one foot is on the neck, that spiritual foot is on the neck of black men, where is the other foot? Woman's fear. Woman's fear. Can I talk to you respectfully? If one foot is placed so ever greatly on the neck of black men spiritually, where is the other foot placed? Where's the other foot placed? Well, my thought process is, if you believe that in your heart of hearts, and there's a foot on black men's neck, are you applying more pressure? Are you applying more pressure? Because my thought process is, or is it to the point where, well, we're not going to help remove the foot? We're not going to encourage black men to say, hey, listen, push, goddammit. Get your mental fitness up. Get your financial fitness up. Get your spiritual fitness up. Get your social fitness up. Get your emotional fitness up. Get right, black men. Cool. All right. Okay. I'm going to do this for the sisters. Okay, cool. I'm going to push. Okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up, even though there is some signs of oppression, even though there's some signs of not having, you know what I'm saying, the economical growth that we need, and we really have been kind of set back a little bit, but I'm going to keep fighting. Brothers and sisters who are born in the same household, with mothers and fathers that promote hate speech, do you split your kids down the middle? Do you tell your son that statistically you ain't gonna be shit? Do you tell your daughters that statistically you ain't gonna be shit? You're gonna be a drug dealer. You're gonna be a hoe. You're gonna be a pimp, and you're going to have several babies out of wedlock. You're going to be in jail. You're going to go to college, but you're really not gonna do anything with your degree. You're going to be a womanizer, and you're just going to hate men. Is that what we're telling our children? Are we coaching our children like that? Because that's what we're doing online. Rodney says, when you say you're going to put your foot on someone, that means you're going to make it tough for that individual. What the thought process is, if you think that black men have a spiritual foot on their necks, well, wouldn't that put them at a disadvantage? Wouldn't that put them at a handicap? Can you imagine someone lines up for the 100-meter dash, right? And everybody got on cleats, track shoes. But one of the contestants, one of the actual participants has on a pair of damn Timbs. Pair of Timbs. Don't even lace them up. If I can see that there is a disadvantage, why do I say, well, look, Look at the disadvantage, y'all. Let's joke on the disadvantage. We need to divest from the disadvantage, y'all. Yeah, that motherfucker handicapped. He's stupid. They dumb. Not say, well, let me get this motherfucker a pair of cleats. Let me cheer for the underdog. Let me help the underdog. Well, if you start out with your head down in the blocks, you probably can start out pretty good. If you tighten up your goddamn shoelaces.
Care? You've been saying for years, what was it? Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. You was singing right along, baby. So you didn't care for years. Now we don't care. Now it's these bitter, angry ass black women. These mad ass women. But see, just like I told you, and I explained this on a couple of panels. I explained it on Cynthia's. I explained it on Nyla's. I did a spiritual correlation of that foot on your neck, and God told us the enemy will become your footstool. So, hey, we watching that foot, that spiritual foot, be on your motherfucking neck. Because since you think that you got full reign to sambo dance all in front of black women's faces, be performative loving, and all of that shit, and you think you ain't gonna suffer no consequences, we get to see you. We watch you. We watch you. We ain't never gonna lose. I don't know when black men gonna figure out that black women are never gonna lose. We will never lose. We will never lose to y'all. Never. You're always gonna be in a constant, you're always gonna be inferior to us. Always.
Oh my God. Woman Sphere, let me ask you a question. What do you tell your sons? No, seriously, what, man, I am dead serious. What do you tell your sons? I'm so serious right now. Like, what do you tell your sons, your nephews, your cousins? What do you tell them? You're always going to be inferior to someone. Always. Forever, ever. Forever, ever. President Obama, you are inferior to Michelle Obama. You are inferior. What? Wow. So the woman, okay, so the content creator that I'm playing right now, again, fair use, but is President Barack Obama inferior to you? I'm just asking some general questions right now, no disrespect. Do you feel that Barack Obama is inferior to you? Because she didn't say some people. Sure. I appreciate that, Jada. Thanks. I'm just curious, y'all. Do she feel that there are black men that are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies? And my thought process, do you walk up to them and say, you're always going to be inferior to me? Yeah, I know you got a plane and I know you got good, but you're still going to be inferior. Can you imagine someone who drills that into your psyche? Who believes that, who constantly tells themselves, like when they talk to a black man, I am inferior to you. That is a level of narcissism. That is definitely a level of narcissism. How can you be inferior to a whole gender of men that you've never met, that you don't know their educational background, you don't know if they have both parents in the household, you don't know their premise, you don't know their structure. So how can you say, just because you are inferior to me? Well, isn't that, what would be the difference between her saying that and a white man coming and saying all black people are inferior to me? Or I'm inferior to all black people? Well, we want to cancel it and call it hate speech? If Donald Trump would have said that on his presidential run. Hey, listen, all black people, look, I'm better than all y'all, but vote for me. I think we let too much stuff go. We overlook too much stuff. Can you imagine me sitting and like with my daughters and telling my daughters all black men are beneath you, and then expecting her or them to grow up, go out into the world with black men, right? And say to these black men, I am inferior to you, I am inferior, I am the alpha omega, I am everything, and you are just dick and balls. Yeah, I know we went to the same college. I know we graduated with the same GPA. I know we're gonna go work at the same law firm, but because I have a vagina, you just don't measure up. And we call those conversations balanced. We call those conversations balanced. I haven't sat here and called the woman sphere any names, any black women names. I haven't called any black males names disrespectfully. And I've sat here and I played about 16 minutes of, I don't know how long this video is. I ain't even never seen that number. There's football numbers on here, but it's about 16 minutes. I think that it's safe to say that this conversation is not going to be the conversation that mends any wounds, that bridges any gaps, that says, I'm going to talk to you respectfully. I'm going to give you the respect that I would want to be given. I think it's safe to say that the narrative here is I'm going to promote discord. I'm going to call you names, and I'm going to hope that there are more women out there that will agree with my type of message. And the sad part about it is there are women out there that agree with that type of message, but they are dating black men. They have black sons. They're in positions where they have to deal with black men. Can you imagine this woman being a judge? Can you imagine this woman showing up to your home when there's a break-in and she's a police officer? You sit online and you spew this, and now I have to go in there. Let's say it's a dentist office, or it's a doctor, or it's someone in a position of authority, real authority, not YouTube authority. Would they then be fair and impartial to you? Would they then treat you with respect? Would they be fair? I would be nervous to deal with somebody like that. And that's why I said I wish that YouTube did a better job at outlining who is it that's talking, who is it that's having the conversations, and that's listening to these conversations. Because to me, I would stand clear of them. I would stand clear, and we probably wouldn't run in the same circles anyway. I'm just gonna be real with you. We wouldn't run in the same circles because no one that's successful around me would tolerate that type of nonsense. They would disassociate themselves from that type of rhetoric because it's unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary. Can you imagine Brad comes over and then I got a homeboy named Derek. Now Derek is a stockbroker. Brad is just a guy, you know what I'm saying? He's a school teacher, which no knocks to school teachers, but we're going to say that everything Derek is saying is disingenuous and not right and not factual, but everything the teacher says about the stock market is cool. But he's the one doing it. He's the one successful at it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you found some relevance to this conversation. I'm hoping that the people that I tagged in there, they listen to this conversation. That's why I didn't want to make it too long. Both men and women need to work together. This is not this is a public service announcement. That's what this is. This is a public service announcement. Yeah, that's what this is. I'm ToughLove. Mario J. Till next time. Adult up. Peace.